Hey, welcome to episode 3 of The Final Split. I am Golden alongside our returning weekly hosts. In the green box, we have, of course, Sinister One.
Good evening.
Good evening to you as well, sir. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well this evening. Ready
That's
to have some fun.
He's got some very straightforward answers. He's ready to go here, I think. And of course, in the red box, right below me, looking up to me, with with a very big afro. We've got Spike Vegeta. Spike, how's it going?
It's going good. Remembering what I was in my youngin' days of
Oh
16.
man, I have some bad hair pictures too. I got to go find mine now. See what
Who said mine was a bad hair
I didn't.
picture?
I'm not saying yours was bad. I'm saying it just reminded me that
Sure,
I
sure.
don't know.
I
Uh,
get it. Okay.
and the inspiration for all of the hair discussion today is our guest Bonesaw 577. Bonesaw, how's it going? He is he's muted again.
Is
Going
it?
good, guys. It's going awesome. Yeah.
All
Are we
right,
back?
Yeah.
there you are.
Okay, there
Are you
there we go.
Okay, I fixed it this time.
Okay.
Yay!
Thank goodness.
I
I thought
hate
we'd have to start the show over. But
technology.
are you good? You're okay
Yeah.
now?
I'm good.
All right. Well,
All right.
first of all, before we even kick the show off, before I even press start on the show, I just want to say a huge shout out and thank you to Speedruns Live. This is the first episode of the Final Split that is airing on Speedruns Live. So thanks so much to everybody involved in helping us out and getting on there. And hopefully we can provide you guys with some entertainment. If this is your first time seeing the show, welcome aboard. Of course, welcome aboard to Bonesaw as well. First time being a guest. All right, guys. That being said, intro's out of the way. Let's go ahead and kick the show off, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Spike says let's do it, so let's go ahead and press
All
start.
right.
Guys, take a look at what happened to Super Mario Bros. 3 this week.
Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this.
It can't end well when a sentence starts like that. So this
This
is
is
World 7-1, Sinister 1. What's about to happen here?
well, this is, normally in a speed run you want to go fast, but in this particular situation you kind of have to be really careful about what you're doing. And what they're doing exactly is killing enemies in a way that's manipulating one of the RAM addresses, which is gonna do something a little crazy here in a minute. So don't worry about them going slow. Don't mind. This is not a let's play. They're setting up a trick which is about to happen pretty soon here. This was found by the TAS community, of course, and they were actually nice enough to develop a real-time way of doing it for speedrunners specifically, even though it has nothing to do with the actual TAS. So, and there's your pipe glitch. So what happens now? We go down a pipe, and usually we come out somewhere. So
This is one of those tricks where it's like, all right, what just happened? I'm not sure. Is this
Right.
okay? Is it,
we're going
what's
somewhere.
happening?
Screen's black.
Come
Game's
on.
gonna crash.
I think I can.
Wait.
Maybe.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
All right.
Oh,
Okay.
We're
This looks
somewhere.
familiar. All right. Now this is looking
uh,
weird.
What is?
All right. And
Super-
okay. And
What?
We won the game. We
That's
won.
it.
We won, you guys.
That's
And
it.
Peach. All right. We
Victory.
took the back
We
door.
did it.
Nice, guys. We made it.
So yeah, that is the new glitched any percent of Mario Brothers 3. So again, another wrong warp in a pretty substantial game as far as how recognized it is. First of all, what do you think about this wrong warp, and what does it mean for the community as far as people playing it? Let's go ahead and start with Sinister One on this one.
I think that it doesn't mean a whole lot for Super Mario Brothers 3 in particular. Most people have tried it and done it. I don't think anybody's like a huge fan of it, but I don't think anybody really dislikes it either. It's kind of just like, hey, this is a cool thing that we can do, and it's fun and it's different. It's a nice way to switch things up a little bit instead of doing like 100% or any percent or whatever. And the nice thing about it that I really like, probably the best thing about it, is you get to skip all those awful auto scrollers. Thank God.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's whether you're a fan of the auto scrollers or not. So I know a lot of new people have been playing as well. Joka jumped in on it. He's not known particularly for Mario Brothers 3, but it seems like it's one of those things that might interest new players. So I'm wondering from Spike maybe, what do you think about this as far as when something like this gets found in a game? Is it a good thing just because it brings in new people like that?
I think it's always good for the community to find something like this that brings immediate excitement to the game. I remember when the new, basically what the modern day Ocarina of Time any percent is. Say what you want about the category now, but at the time there was just so much excitement for it. Everyone was watching Cosmo and ZFG just go back and forth. Whether or not you want to consider it, I mean, I don't want to get into the word obviously legitimate. It is still a speed run, but yeah, I'm always excited for the excitement that it brings to them. I think it's allows for people in the community to try out something completely different. The only thing I'll say about it personally, I guess I don't know how much it frustrates me is, but I like to see runners putting their skill level and their time into the longer, more complete categories, as opposed to maybe something super short like this.
Okay.
That being said, I think whipping this out at like a GDQ, I think would blow minds, and I think people would be more than down to see it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. If it's one of those things that can be done consistently, I think it's impressive enough, and it has that wow factor.
right, how consistent is this to pull off? I don't know how much you might know about it, Sinister. It does look pretty
You have a
specific.
couple. There's a couple tricks that you have to do that are, I believe, you have 2 frame windows for 2 of them, and then the pipe glitch you get to try as many times as you need to, so that's not that important. But it's mainly getting the other 2 tricks leading up to the pipe glitch. So I don't think it's that bad because, as somebody mentioned, Joka picked up the game and he did it pretty quickly, and he doesn't even run the game. So, you know. I think it's doable. If people are interested in getting into it, they could certainly try it.
All right. So the follow up question that I have is, this probably goes ahead and gets classified as its own category, separate from your traditional auto scroller, any percent that goes through World 8. But what happens to that auto scroller, World 8 any percent? Are people still going to play that now, or is this going to be the new default? What do you
I
guys
feel
think?
like I feel like there were so many people that talked so much trash about Mario 3, kind of all the categories because of the auto scrollers, but mostly any percent because so much of the game was auto scrolling that I do wonder. I don't think this replaces that category. Like if you were to list all the categories, but yeah, how many people are really going to focus on any percent, normal any percent now at all? Because it already had so much going against it, and now you do have this shorter no auto scroller category.
I want to hear from Bonesaw.
Well, I'm like me personally, like being part of like the Luigi's Mansion community when we found the out of bounds to like skip straight from the first section to like the last section of the game. Like I can kind of relate to it that way, like how it does in fact bring a lot of excitement to the game, a lot more people into the community as well. But then like Spike was saying, again, you have um like the difficulty of making new categories now because it's found, and now you have to like branch off into a whole bunch of like different things, like, oh, will this be any percent? Now this will be any percent without that specific glitch. So I think both sides, like it's like a 50-50 split. Like you have the pros, which is a lot of excitement, a lot more people, and then you have the cons, which is like you're battling with the community
Yeah, it seems like
find out.
it's more of a problem if you're somebody that's invested in the auto scroller percent, and you kind of want to preserve that at the same time. So,
Yeah.
anyway, in any case, it's a really cool glitch. It looks like a lot of people are jumping on it, so look for that in and around the community here in the next couple of days. I'm sure you'll see some people going at it. And let's move on now and talk about the Clippy Clip here. That's our next segment here. Guys, 2 TASs came out this week. Monkey Ball 1 and 2 TASs were released and debuted on Barhunga's stream just a few days ago. And this is really cool. This is a game
Oh my
that,
god.
Wow.
first of all, just
I like
playing
this
this game, you can kind of tell as you're playing it. There's a fast way to do every stage, but
Yeah.
it's so cool to see a TAS take advantage of this. Look at this, like, curling
Oh,
along the
the
sides.
speed. Oh my gosh. Under 9 seconds.
Your definition of fast when you're playing this game versus when you see a TAS play it just changes so much. The things that it can do, like that, bouncing over the bumpers,
Oh
and
my god.
it's just some really neat stuff. I just want to go ahead and name drop the guys that were involved in this TAS. If I get the names wrong, forgive me on that, but it's Burrs, Nin Diddy, Keeley and Barhunga were the ones involved in creating it. These are both Monkey Ball 1 and 2 TASes. They play the expert stages, which are ordered and have the possibility of skipping stages. So some stages will have more than one goal, and hitting a harder goal will let you skip stages. They do opt to skip floors in these TASes. That's kind of my only disappointment in it, is that, you know, because the whole focus is trying to get the time down as low as possible, that they opt to skip over some of the stages. But you still get to see just some very high technical and interesting play here. A lot of it involving bouncing or rolling along the sides like that, defying gravity with some interesting bounces. I love the way
game's amazing.
Yeah, it's just such a fun game to play, but at the same time, take a look at this. It's like hopping over the gap inside the cube to get the goal. I want you guys, if you're interested at all in this, I linked both of the TASes there at the bottom of your screen. Just jot those links down and go check them out, because they deserve your views. They're really short TASes, about 12-13 minutes each. And what you're not seeing here in this clip are the the extra and the master stages. I deliberately left those out as kind of a teaser, like, okay, if you're interested in what you're seeing here, there's a lot more where that came from. So this is, of course, Monkey Ball 2 now at this point that you're looking at.
Yeah, I always enjoy TASes that it's like you don't necessarily need to have even played the game to kind of appreciate what's going on. It's just apparent that, like, wow, they're obviously doing things that are just absolutely bonkers.
And the amount of work that had to go into it, just look at all the possibilities that could have existed with where these platforms are moving up and down, and it's just such a fast game to begin with, too, that you just have to imagine the amount of time that was put into it.
And it's exciting to see games that are from, like, newer consoles or relatively newer consoles to have TASes for, you know, as opposed to, like, you know, NES games and SNES games.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Early 2004 or 5, when SDA was kind of becoming a thing, all you could find TASes on were, of course, NES, Super NES, and it is really cool to see the newer, and by newer I mean like 6th generation of games, I guess, seeing some love now.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff. So check out those TASes, guys. Monkey Ball 1 and 2. Really exciting stuff. And debuted, I believe that the debut was on Barhunga's stream. So they actually, took the opportunity to play it on a stream known for Monkey Ball. So that's pretty cool. Good work, guys. Awesome stuff. Guys, our weekly guest this week is Bonesaw, and it's time to get to know him a little bit better while he's here. Look at that bright smile. He's excited to be here. Bonesaw, I believe the first time I remember doing anything at the same time as you as far as speedrunning was the Sandython Marathon. Is that something you remember?
Yeah, I remember the Sandython Marathon. Actually, I thought of that before I had even come on the show. I was like, I wonder if they're going to talk about the Sandython, because that was actually, I think that was my first marathon that I was actually like starting to branch out, because all I'd ever done was played Luigi's Mansion. So I was like, well, I might as well sign up for this marathon. It might be pretty fun. And yeah, I think you and Gooby were actually there when I was doing my run.
Yeah. And from there, I guess, did you do the dance during that marathon
I did.
too?
I did do it at the end. I think we had an incentive for it as well, and that was when my mom donated for me to do the dance on stream. And that was when everybody started saying Bone Mom and everything.
And that's how it caught on. She kind of gained her own fame in that moment there.
Yeah. She's got her own like Twitch page and everything as well. She even won a name change contest, and she says her favorite streamers are you, Spike Vegeta. She says she watched Sinister One, I think at AGDQ, and she really enjoys Peaches.
Awesome!
Wow, there
She's
you go.
Even got her own.
One of those
she knows who to choose, at least when you're going to be on the final split, right? She picked the right people there. But yeah, so that's really cool. I mean, that it's not just yourself that's involved in speedrunning, but it's something that you're able to share with your mom like that. As far as she's aware of what you're doing and very appreciative of what you do. I would assume.
Yeah, yeah. And I find that's pretty rare. Like, you talk to a lot of people and they say that their parents, like, either aren't supportive of other people, of like their kids streaming, or they like just don't care. But to actually have that kind of a like connection, or have a good relationship with your parents where you can actually like stream and then have your parents come on and they're kind of like a just another personality that branches off of yours. I think that's really cool. Like I think Chirno TV's stream is a pretty good example. Like, his dad is awesome as well. Like, I think him and his dad and me and my mom, we like, it's the same kind of relationship where you can have that kind of bond with your parents when you can just stream and then they come on and then they say hi and everybody knows them.
Yeah,
I think
and you can
that's
tell you guys are you're having fun. You're having a good time on stream. So let's talk a little bit about. I mean, you've been in a few different marathons now at this point. You know, you've run Luigi's Mansion before. You've run Jack and Daxter. Like, what is your marathon run that like stands out to you as this was my favorite marathon run, and why?
oh man. Hmm. I think it would probably have to be the Luigi's Mansion 100% run I did at SGDQ 2013, because I had never been to like a marathon of that size in person, like to actually meet the people that I'd been watching for like a year and a half finally are just like right there in front of you. And to actually get the chance to go to one of those marathons and do like that was my first run there. So it was definitely quite the experience. I was really nervous. Like, my hands wouldn't stop shaking when I was just about to do my run.
Yeah,
And but
you get into that hot
uh,
seat, and there's pressure.
yeah, but it
Which
was definitely enjoyable. That's the one that stands out the most to me.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I was a part of that in the background there. You know, getting along with the siren dance at the end of your run
Yeah,
there, and
yeah.
it was obviously, you know, you put on more of a show outside of the run as well, and I guess that's kind of like one of your kind of gimmicks too. I wouldn't say it in a negative way, but uh, you know, you certainly have more entertainment outside of just the game that you play. Um, you know, in addition to just doing the dances, like what are some of the other like wacky things you've done on stream?
Oh man, I've done a lot of really weird stuff. I think the weirdest thing I've ever done was I took the computer outside and hooked up my Wii and played Paper Mario while jumping on a trampoline.
I,
How successful was that?
That was not successful at all.
I was not expecting anything like that for an answer, but
Sounds
that
Good
exceeded
answer.
expectations.
Good
Yeah.
Yeah,
answer.
that was
really
the
good.
absolute
All right.
weirdest thing. It stands out in my mind as one of the weirdest things I've ever done on stream.
That's bizarre. All right. So let me just challenge you with this next question because I know that you might not think of it as this, but I know that you play a lot of different games. You're not just, you know, Bonesaw the Luigi's Mansion runner or Bonesaw the Jack and Daxter runner. You've run a lot of different games
Yeah.
in a short amount of time here, the few couple years that you've been streaming. Can you list as many games that you've speedrun as possible? Just like try to give me
Wow.
because
Okay.
I think people are going to be impressed by this because you play a lot of big games, and it blows my mind how much time you have to be able to figure out all these runs. It's really cool.
I just finished listing them in alphabetical order too, and I can't even.
Oh my goodness,
Oh my god.
he's challenging
Okay.
himself before he gets on the show.
Okay. Let me see this here. Metal Slug 3, Spider Man for the PlayStation 1, Spyro 3. Let's see. We got Siren Blood Curse. We got Forbidden Siren 2. We got Yoshi's New Island. I just ran that today. What else do we have here? Jack and Daxter. We have Jack 2. I've run before. Think, damn it. What else have you played? Hmm.
That's pretty
Uh,
good though.
you
I mean,
think?
you don't have to get them all, but that was impressive.
No, that
I think you
was. I
missed.
think that was pretty good.
I would throw in Duke Nukem. I don't know if you saw
Oh
that,
yeah,
but
dude.
Oh yeah, maybe
uh,
something you might be playing.
Yeah.
so what currently interests you? Like what's I mean I've seen a few things, but what's like
Hmm.
calling out to you right now as far
Well,
as
I have like, I don't know. Whenever I play whenever I get into a new speed game and then I practice it and I run it a few times, I'm just like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty good. Let's just move on to the next one. So I have like
done.
My interest goes all over the place. Like that's why I have so many games in my like games list with actual speedrun times, is just because I can't really make up my mind. But what I'm into right now is actually Yoshi's New Island, and like I've been doing the any percent route of that because 100% is really weird. But the game itself is like kind of meh casually, but it's really fun to speedrun.
No.
And that's basically been my main interest right now.
Okay.
And yeah, I think that game is pretty much it for now.
Now, just one question on that, because I've heard from people who've played it. You know, Trihex and Lee have had a chance to play it on stream, and they kind of expressed their thoughts on it. But I hear that the gyro motion control is the way to go.
Yeah.
Are you playing using that kind of motion control?
Yeah, well, for speedruns, it's way faster to use the gyro, but it's really awkward, I would say, because if you want to just if you want to shoot it straight up, like you just have to like rotate it a lot to get it to go all the way up, like really
so
quick.
You're doing this.
Yeah, you're
This has
driving
to
a car.
happen at the GDQ.
moving around.
Yeah.
So I have to
This
like
has to be on camera.
I have to keep the charger in, and then of course I have like the little cord that's plugged into my computer. So like going like that, it's really difficult, but it is pretty fun. The music is bad.
To put it lightly.
It's so bad.
And it's never good in a speedrun when you have to endure bad music, but
yeah.
The gameplay keeps you going though, right?
Yeah. I find the game itself was really fun, but the first night I played it on stream, there were so many people that were in my chat just expressing how much they hated the game because it wasn't Yoshi's Island, you know? So,
right. I mean, they have this idea built up in their head of what it's supposed to be.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be a carbon copy of
right.
SMW2. I mean, I don't know what you're expecting, and if you don't like it, then don't watch.
There you go. That's the right attitude to have. Play what you like.
Yeah.
Spike, Sinister One, you guys have any questions you want to throw in there?
Yeah, I know that you have your own dance, and I think that's awesome. And I was wondering, like, are you like a really good dancer? Just like if I were to take you to a club in DC or something when we go to AGDQ, like are you gonna get out there and like a circle is just gonna form around you and like everybody's gonna be just watching you tear it up?
Well, I certainly do try. Like I just dance a lot. Like I put on my iPod and I just like dance in my room sometimes just because I don't know. I think it's a good way to de-stress and kind of exercise and stuff like that. But I know a few moves. I could definitely.
All right. Well, then in that case, then my follow-up question would be, if you could have a dance-off against any speedrunner, who would it be?
Ooh.
Wow.
This is the call-out right here.
That's the best question we've had yet.
I feel like this is going to have to go down somewhere, too, whoever he picks.
Wow.
There's some good choices.
There are a lot of good choices. That's why I can't choose one. Who would it have to be?
You can name multiple people if you want.
Call everybody out right now. We're open to you calling people out on stream.
Okay, well, there is one person, but he lives in Europe. It's the Rixer.
All right.
He does.
Dude, Ricky.
Yeah, he does. He does the shuffle. So I would definitely like to try and put the happy feet to earn moves on him, just to see.
All right.
Just to see. All right. There we go.
ESA versus SGDQ. Both of you have a dance.
There you go. You can over the internet we can have the duel. So at each marathon, there you go. So just to wrap up here, you're going to be at SGDQ. Is that confirmed?
Yeah, I'll most likely be. I thought I was actually gonna be going on a trip to South Korea during August, which would have taken up most of my funds, but it was a school trip, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen. So SGDQ might be the way to go.
And while you brought that up, why don't you tell everybody what you're going to school for? I think it's pretty cool.
I go to school for video game development.
Video game development.
Be making the next generation of speed games.
There you go. The next time there's a big glitch in a game and it's got your name on it, I'm gonna let you know. So
you can blame me.
Yeah, that's meta right there. Like speedrunners making games that eventually other speedrunners are going to play.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We
Yeah.
totally didn't build in these glitches.
No, not at
Well,
all.
that's what I keep telling myself when I'm in school or I'm in a class that I don't particularly enjoy. I just think, man, I'm gonna be that guy that's gonna create the next speed game, you know? And that's what kind of keeps me going.
There you go. All right, well, guys, that's Bonesaw. He's going to be here with us the rest of the show. So nice, giving us the thumbs up and everything. Thanks again for coming on the show here.
No
And
problem.
on that note, we're going to transition to our next topic. So it's time for Record Setter. Guys, I don't think this surprises anybody, but Cosmo's broken another major milestone in Ocarina of Time running this week with an 1856 Ocarina of Time run, getting below 19 minutes. I think the first thing that I would say about it that just has to be said is that regardless of what you think about like IQ versus N64 or any of that, it's clear the amount of work that went into this run.
And it's amazing I feel like he's only come back to the game recently, like maybe in the last month or so, and has already come back to take the record.
Now,
Yeah, I think you really got to appreciate the skill level. You know, people forget Cosmo even plays this game because he's been on like Wind Waker and other stuff for so long, and it's just like, yeah, what Spike said. He just comes back in and is like, hey, remember me?
yeah,
Yeah.
he takes no time in reminding you that he plays a game. It's, you know, if he puts his mind to it, he takes like 3 or 4 days to practice up and he's good to go. So, uh, I don't know that I want to say this about Ocarina of Time yet because I feel like it might be too early to say something like this. But for a 3D game, this game is really getting down to frames. It feels like we're running out of room here. What else is left? But yeah.
Well, yeah, I haven't watched this whole run, but I felt that way back when we were in like the high 19s, and now we're a whole minute below that. But yeah, like you say, it is Ocarina of Time, and seemingly every day they find, not every day, but
Right.
all the time they're finding new stuff.
There's
for this
always
game.
a new trick somewhere. So yeah, it's just one of those games that, first of all, I think it's really cool that you know the high level of play of any percent really had uh, you know some strong competition. It wasn't one of those things where it was like isolated to one person. And it just continues to get pushed down as a result of that. And it's kind of cool to see that even still after, you know, it kind of feels like any percent's been around for forever, and we've seen this run, you know, month after month, that new stuff still keeps getting found. People are still putting time into it, and you know, I don't know like how much is left, but I was considering this when I was watching it. Uh, it almost feels like the game is more cutscenes at this point than it is play.
It's getting close to that level,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think
It is. Yeah.
anytime you have a community that's this big and this competitive, it is just going to continue to drive the time down because you know people have to be like, okay, well, I got to find a way to beat this now. So whereas other games, if there's only like 1 or 2 runners, then a lot of times it'll stop before a game really reaches its full potential, so to speak.
Yeah, having that back and forth competition certainly elevates the standard of gameplay for sure. I like this.
So I have a question for you guys. Do you want to see Cosmo versus Skater SGDQ?
I think if they're both up
That
for
would
it, that
be-
would be insane.
But I was
No
like, because we do
question.
talk about what is a good race game, and I, you know, obviously don't know all the ins and outs of, you know, how risky this game or this category is. But do we feel like Cosmo and Skater are at the consistency level to where we could see a really hype race, and not just Cosmo versus Skater, but IQ versus N64?
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
that
know.
adds
Could
an
be
extra
cool.
layer. What do you think, Sinister One?
Wow, that would be really, really interesting. And, you know, the last time we had an Ocarina of Time race, it went pretty darn well. So, you know, I think it's certainly the kind of game. Things were obviously very different at that time, but, you know, the fact of the matter remains that there's still, like, people of very similar skill levels. So, yeah, anytime you have that and it's a short enough game, you know, it's not going to be a blowout most likely due to the length. So it's a good candidate for a race.
Well, there we go. As the highlight clip wraps up here, uh, that's Cosmos Ocarina of Time, 1856. Pretty cool stuff. You know, I think he's still going at it too. It's not like this was the run and that was it. Like there's more optimization there, and he's looking for it. So very, very cool. And of course, when anytime an Ocarina of Time run breaks another run, these kind of topics come up, which is why I think it's a good opportunity for us to break down into some real talk here for a minute on some topics related to that run. First up, let's talk a little bit about hardware here. So, this question comes up every time the IQ is involved and somebody, breaks a record in that form. But should top runners be seeking out the fastest hardware for their runs, or should the hardware that's most popular in the community kind of take priority? Like, what is your thought? Should it be up to the runner to get the best hardware, or should they be taking an approach that gives more direct competition with what everybody is playing? We're opening the can of worms tonight, if you haven't figured that out. So, Sinister One, I'm going to start with you. What do you think? Fastest hardware or what everybody in the community is using?
Well, in this are we talking this particular scenario or just in general?
Hit me up with either thought.
Okay, I'm going to go with this particular scenario. Ocarina of Time, obviously a very popular game, very competitive, and I think that the level of competition dictates that if you want to compete that much for this game, then you should get the hardware. I don't feel that the cost is prohibitive if you are willing to go that hard after the record. Like if you're just a new runner coming onto the scene, then you might say, okay, well, I don't want to spend $100-something to get the IQ and the game and whatever else. I might need to stream it, but we're in a different time and place now in streaming. I mean, people get donations, people have subscriber, etc. Right. Like, it's not an impossible barrier to cross to get like some money together so that you could get an IQ. And I mean, really, if you're a person that's that competitive about it and the community says that, hey, this is the way to go, then I think you should. I think you should shell out the money and get it.
Okay. So Bike Vegeta, what do you think?
I'm always in support of, I don't want people to have to spend money, but I think that should be up to the individual. We kind of over the years moved from, not just we're in a streaming time where people are getting donations. We're moving from where, in the SDA days, it was just make a run and send it in. Now there's so much competition for your games that I think people naturally want to push to, well, I want the best time. And sometimes that equals, I do need to buy better hardware. So some of it is contained within just your own community. I know, to bring up an example, within the Kingdom Hearts 2 community, Puexel actually had access to a backwards compatible PlayStation 3, which could run PlayStation 2 games and would have had better load times. He elected to not go down that route to stay comparable to the rest of the community. And that's all well and good. I'm not trying to say like people who buy our IQs are bad or bad for the community. But as you go, more and more people are getting into speedrunning. And so naturally, they're going to start wanting to get just the better time if they see the ability to have better hardware. That's what happens, I think, with sports. Is people say, there is a shoe that will allow me to jump higher, run faster, and now I have, if I can get access to that, why not?
Right.
It stinks because I guess I'd like this to stay a fun community thing, and for us to be able to just look at runs regardless of what the time is and say what the quality of it is. But I think that's up to the individual whether they want to spend the money or not.
Okay. Bonesaw, I think you have a really good example that we talked about a while ago with a game that you're familiar with. Give us a real life example here. What's up with Ratchet and Clank? Like, let's say I want to play Ratchet and Clank at the highest level. What happens?
Yeah. So basically, like, I used to run Ratchet and Clank a little bit, but it was like North American fat PlayStation 2 version. And like I used to run it, and there, like, before there was some newer tech found. Like it used to be the best version that you could play on, and I mean it's widely accessible, so nobody really thought anything of it. But I mean, now that like there's some new stuff that's been found, like as an example, a glitch that was found on the last boss is you can actually use the flamethrower on the last boss, and it does a lot more damage. There's so much damage that it basically kills him in like I don't know, like 2 minutes now compared to like if you were to play on the North American version.
So it's big enough
Also,
where it's like game altering, right?
yeah,
You pretty
yeah.
much need this version.
And same with the magnetic boots. Like you can use them on a ventilation shaft and basically keep sticking to a certain wall that's not magnetic and just walk all the way and skip like most of the level.
Now, how much are you saying this costs if you want to be able to play on that version that can do that?
At least like a few minutes now.
Dollars wise, Canadian dollars wise,
Oh,
how about?
uh,
So then please convert
Right.
that as well.
Just
So
give us
we
an
yes.
idea here. So like I guess what I'm trying to illustrate is like let's say you want to play Ratchet and Clank at that top level on that best version. What is the cost to you to be able to do that?
I would say now, like seeing as now that the fastest version pretty much is like PAL PlayStation 3 version. Um, Actually, I'm not really sure like what a PlayStation 3 goes for like in the PAL version now, but it would take quite a lot of money actually to
So you're
like actually
thinking
get a PlayStation 3 that's PAL and like get a television for it and
right because
converters
you're
and
gonna need a PAL
everything.
TV,
So
right? Yeah.
yeah. So
So depending on the
like
game here, we're talking, IQ might be, like I don't know, $100. We'll say. I don't know that that's accurate, but you go to talk about other games. Sometimes you're talking about an entire system. You're talking about a console, a television, converters, everything like that. So certain games are more prohibitive than others. I think something that we can all agree on is that we wish these kind of version differences didn't exist. Simply
yes,
I
because
agree. Yeah, I mean,
100%.
wouldn't it
I think that a lot of times it's easier. Like a lot of people will play on a Japanese Super Nintendo game to use faster text, for example, right? Like
mm-hmm.
Link to the Past, and it has a couple other added advantages than Link to the Past as well. But it's well agreed upon in the community. Everybody does it, and it's not too cost prohibitive. So if you want to compete, you kind of got to get the Japanese
Right.
version. So, but I think at the same time, the most important thing, which everybody's pretty much touched on, is that as long as people are able to do it on the same, like we're all competing on the same playing field, that makes things a little bit easier versus if we're trying to do conversions of, oh, well, this
Right. Yeah, I
US
think
version is, compared to the Japanese
yeah,
version.
I
It's
think the lofty
actually,
goal would be everybody plays on the same version so that nobody has to do any sort of comparisons, time conversions, things like that. But that's just the way it is. Like
yes,
there's no getting around it no matter
Yeah.
what game it
there's
is. It just
yeah.
there's
it's
not.
just a fact of life. So, all right, let's lay that to rest for a minute. It seems like the chat was really interested in that topic, so we'll kind of let you guys continue along with that while we move on here. Another thing that comes up a lot of times when records like this happen, news articles like to talk about it. So there have been a lot of articles written about Cosmos OOT runs. One that came out recently saying that he beat his own record, which wasn't entirely accurate. But aside from that, one of the things that happens on these articles is that the general public reacts to them in interesting ways. They tend to see speedrunning as cheating or a giant waste of your time. What do you think about that? And is that ever going to change? Is that something that we can start to convince people about, or is it just another fact of life here? Spike Vegeta, you look
Oh
just
gosh, this is the first thing I remember back in 2004 when I started speedrunning. The first two friends that heard about it said that sounds like the most boring way to play a video game ever, and I never could understand that. You're essentially like I did eventually find a friend who understood. They were like, you have to understand a game inside and out. And that's what people do anyways. People spend all their time achievement hunting. People put hundreds upon thousands of more hours into League of Legends, moving up the ladders and that.
yeah,
So sadly, if you want the general public to have a better perception of it, it has to grow bigger. I think more people have to see the marathons, have to see the good it does. I think it takes one person finding that one clip that blind Mike Tyson's punch out to go, oh, wait a minute, this looks really cool. This F-Zero GX run by
yeah.
CGN. Oh, okay.
Sinister One, do you think there's been any shift at all? Are people starting to be more receptive to it, or are they really still looking for those glitchless, natural route kind of?
I think Spike was on point with everything that he said, and I think it's really just what floats your boat. You know, some people are into like no damage runs, some people are into high score runs, some people are just into like really casual let's play and go through the game slowly and do all kinds of stuff runs. So it's just kind of personal preference, and I do think the general public is getting more of a notion of that. Okay, hey, this actually does take some skill and it's entertaining. So things that take skill and are entertaining usually tend to do pretty well over time.
And I think it's safe to say that the marathons are helping with that exposure too, that it's not just somebody's cheating at this game. I mean, it's clear when you watch them play it, even if there are glitches involved and that's not your thing, that there's obviously a lot of work put into these runs.
Yeah, most glitches are hard to do. It's not just like, oh look, I pressed this button and I won the game.
Right.
That's the one thing I'll say about that. Anybody who claims that they think this requires no skill is someone we do not need to be listening to.
Yeah.
Whose opinion means literally
right.
nothing.
I mean, who would be doing these runs anyway if it was just press a button and you've beat the game, right? Like it's obvious that in order to have that competition, there's got to be some execution involved as well. Bonesaw, what do you think?
Well, I've had a few examples in real life.
I love these examples. This is why I want to ask you.
Oh man.
So you talk to your friends a lot about this, right? Or other people who watch?
Yeah. Like I watch a lot of Twitch in class. Like I wear the hoodie. I wear my Speedruns Live shirt in class, so everybody says, "Oh, what's Speedruns Live?" and I tell them. Or I'll be watching, like, I was watching Jackifer one day playing Mischief Makers, and somebody came up to me and they were like, "Oh, is that a speedrun?" And I looked at them, I was like, "Yeah, it is. You know about speedruns?"
You're relieved when somebody actually knows.
And he said, so he's basically rushing through the game. And I was like, yeah, that's what speedrunning basically is. And then he just looks at me and he goes, "Oh, I don't like that." And he walks away.
Okay. Cool guy.
And the friend that I actually talked to the most, I was watching somebody, I can't remember who it was now, but there was a lot of glitching involved, like going through walls and everything.
Uh-huh.
And my friend looks at me and he's like, "So this is speedrunning, right? This is what you've been talking about." And I was like, "Yeah, this is what speedrunning is. They like glitch, or they use glitches as tools to get to the end of the game faster." And he's like, "Oh, well, that's cheating." And I said, "What? How is it cheating?" He's like, "Oh, that's not the way it's meant to be played." And I tried to explain that it was just a goal, like a goal to get to the end faster. So if
I think it seems to me like a lot of people have this definition in their head of like what constitutes a legal speedrun. Like especially if you're not familiar with speedrunning at all, you kind of picture someone going through the entire game as intended, and so a lot of times that happens.
Yeah.
So, guys,
I mean, even in like sports, like people used to think in basketball, like slam dunking the ball was cheating. Like, like that's
there's no air involved.
That's not fair. You shouldn't be able to do that.
Time. The ball just goes right into the hoop. That's cheating. All right. So, in addition to these kind of weird views of like it's cheating or it's a waste of time, sometimes the comments that people leave on these speedrunning articles aren't the most informed, intelligent, or otherwise friendly. So we're going to play a game here. It's called Real Comment, Fake Comment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you guys 2 comments. And keep in mind that these are not the most tasteful comments you'll ever see. But one of them is going to be a real comment that was left on a speedrunning article. The other one is a fake comment. And I'm going to ask each of you to try and figure out which one is real. Okay? Chat, you can play along as well. So here we go. Here's question number 1. Guys, which of these is a real speedrunning comment? Thank you for your service. Keep up the good work. You're not wasting your life. You're making a difference in all our lives. You're the best gamer in the whole world. Kind of like being the smartest competitor at the Special Olympics. Or, I am Jin how much laid he is not getting. That's a dork.
Those are both definitely true. Come on.
All right.
Oh my God.
Sinister One, which one do you think is the real one?
This is a trick question. I think they're both real.
You think they're both real? All right.
If I had to select only one of them, I think it would be number 2.
Number 2. Okay, Bonesaw, which one do you like?
Well, like right after you said the last one, I said true, so I'm gonna go with the last one.
Gonna go with number 2, Spike Vegeta.
I'm gonna go with number 2 because no one's gonna write that much.
No one's gonna write that much.
Yeah.
You're actually wrong. It was number 1.
What?
Oh, there it is. Kind of like beating the smartest competitor at the Special Olympics. I can't believe that. That's a terrible comparison, first of all. But wow. All right, way to go, Fizz. Nice comment there. All right,
That is a real comment.
wow, that's a real, actual comment someone put on.
He committed so much of his life to insult.
Yes.
Let's move on to another one here. Which of these is a real comment? If I was his parent, I would be so proud of him. Not, lol. At least my children are educated and have jobs. Kids these days. Sigh. Or, cool story, bro. Bunch of grown-up kids with Asperger's play video games on end and have never touched a boob in real life. News at 11. Wow, those are tough to pick between. Spike, I'm starting with you.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the last one. That
The last
sounds
one?
like the internet.
All right,
I'm
that
gonna go
sounds
with
like the internet. Bonesaw's dying in the bottom corner. Bonesaw, which one?
internet legend.
Show of hands, 1 or 2. 1 or 2.
Oh, beat red.
He can't handle it.
Let's see. I think the first one is the real
You're going with
comment.
first one, Sinister 1.
Oh man, this is so difficult. This brings me back to my poker days. I can't tell if you're like trying to level me or something. Like, because with the first question, you tricked us
5
all.
seconds.
Are
5
you
seconds.
going to try to trick us again?
1 or 2.
I'll go. My first instinct was to go with 2.
Number 2? Yeah, that's right. It is. It's number 2.
Oh,
Jason said that one.
always go with your gut.
Yeah,
kid.
there you go. That's an actual
Okay.
comment. Wow,
Thank
unbelievable.
you, Jason.
All right, one more. We got one more here. All right, which of these is the real comment? Mom, I need more Mountain Dew. Mom, my poop bucket needs emptied. Come on, Mom, speed it up. Or, if he pounds the controller's joystick that long, he probably pounds his own joystick even more. Bonesaw, I'm starting with you. These are just 5-star comments.
I haven't gotten. Well, I'm pretty sure like the first comment was from South Park.
Okay. So you're gonna go with 2?
So I don't know. They could both be real.
Pick quickly.
I'll just go with the first one.
First one, Sinister 1. 1, 2.
I think I actually read the second one on a website, so I'm going with number 2.
He thinks he's actually read it before. That's great. Spike, 1 or 2.
2.
Spike's like, I heard Sinister 1 say that one. You're all wrong, actually. You're
I
all
was
wrong.
going with-
The correct answer was both of them. They're both real.
Oh, damn! See, I had it on the first one. I was
Yeah,
thinking
you,
right,
you
but-
pulled it out too early.
And they
Uh,
were
I
next to each
did.
other.
I
That is
did. I
shout-outs
leveled
to-
myself.
It just
there.
it blows my mind. Like, it's almost like the people who have these comments. It's like they're worse than what they think. They think speedrunning is bad, and then they go ahead and just prove that they're bad too. So I don't know. That was
Running is destroying the world.
yeah. Well, hopefully
That was fantastic.
that was a fun look at some of the comments that people tend to leave on those. So let's go ahead and leave that behind. Try to calm down.
Gotta breathe.
Bonesaw's got to breathe. He's
I
he's
gotta
dying.
breathe.
Let's move on.
gotta
Let's
breathe.
talk about the big plays of the week.
Big play.
The big plays. Sinister 1, tell me what Ring Rush does in this Donkey Kong 64 run.
He does illegal cheating, right? That's what we're calling it.
Yeah, I guess.
Kotaku
This is-
approved.
Basically, he's in Hideout Helm, which is the very end of the game, pretty much. You have to get these keys to kind of unlock this stuff, and he's trying to get in there, but you need 100 golden bananas to get in there. So he's like, well, let me throw these oranges and lag the game out really badly. And by lagging it, it allows me to control my movement a little better since things are going slower. And oh, look at that! I clipped right through the door. So if you don't know anything about DK64, that's kind of what this game is all about. There's just all kinds of tricks and glitches everywhere, and he's just getting started. I remember he said he was he was like shaking after that because he was so hyped that he got through the door, and now he has to do this trick of climbing this insurmountable ledge here or hill that he's trying to get up, and somehow he does that. I don't even really understand half of these tricks, honestly, but I just know that they're difficult, and like if you screw up at all, it's over.
Now, is this task? I mean, this is obviously it says it's task only trick.
Yes.
That he did in real
That was
time.
the
Was
that
he
was the
intending?
perception.
Was he intending to do that? I mean, like, was this part of an experimentation thing?
I think that he really just believed it wasn't going to happen in a run because one of the other things is you only have a certain amount of those oranges that he's throwing, so you only get so many tries to do it, and I mean, he was the one. Like, I think the highlight of this clip says "Never say TAS only" or
That's
something
correct.
like that. So, and then he gets through this. He got that trick with actually a backup strat, which was even more amazing because he's like, okay, I ran out of
Oh,
oranges,
wow.
but let me just do this crazy moon kick to clip through the wall.
So it's safe to say, like, this is one of the, you know, like, you're almost improvising because you haven't had an opportunity to do this a lot in a real run.
Yeah, I think he mentioned he's like, some of these strats I just found an hour ago or something like.
So this is really like
He had,
spur
like,
of the
no
moment. He gets
practice
in
with
there,
that.
and I mean, this is early in the run too. I mean, he's got a decent amount of the any percent run left after this, so he's got to keep it together.
Well, unfortunately, actually, you would think that because of the length of the game, but most of
Right.
the now is just the final boss
Right.
fight,
Yeah,
really.
that's true. He does
So
have just the long boss fight remaining after that, but I guess uh, from my perspective, it's always cool to see tricks that you know, you kind of defy the laws for a second when you take something that's a task only trick and execute it in real time. So I think this saved on the order of like 7 or 8 minutes. Is that
yeah, I think it was
accurate?
around 8. I believe it was around 8 minutes that it saved. So it was a pretty big deal, pretty big break in the game. And this is another one of those games like Ocarina of Time where people have been working on breaking this game forever, and there's just always new stuff being found. When you think like there's nothing else they could possibly find, it's like, nope, just kidding. We found something else.
Just another reminder that it's a rare game. So
Yeah, yeah. There is that as well. I mean,
it
they are
has it
kind of
has the
known.
convenience of not so solid walls, I guess. But there it is. He gets key number 8 there. Uh, well, that's really cool. So yeah, he
I'd
ended up
love
improving
to.
the any percent by a lot there. Spike.
I'd love to hear the rest of the DK64 community if this is exciting or if this is like crap. Now we have to hit this trick to do
Right.
any percent anymore. Something that he just whipped out, a TAS only thought thing. Now you have to do that to compete for the record at all, apparently.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty crazy.
I'm interested to see what comes of it if you know people are pursuing it further or if we find some other response to it now. You never know. Like with Donkey Kong 64, especially, where it's just like, okay, we're gonna skip the majority of the game anyway. There's probably going to be some other convenience trick that comes along that's easier to do. Who knows? Uh,
Sure.
anyway, that's pretty cool. Check it out on Ring Rush's Twitch page. It's got the highlight up there. Never say TAS only. Uh, so, all right, let's move on. Let's go out of bounds for just a second, guys. We're going to talk about something that's only slightly speedrunning related. Uh,
Nice.
but our guest Bonesaw is involved in this, as well as our co-host Sinister One. The Yeti.com is selling limited edition speedrunner shirts, and I got one on today. I wore one of mine. This is we got the Sinister One shirt.
What do we got there? Nice.
It says you never seen such finger speed before. Introducing Sinister One, and then at the bottom here, if I can stand up here, I'll try to get out of the way. It lists like his accomplishments. So it's like he's won the WVBA World Circuit blindfolded. He remained a true pacifist during a dangerous ninja mission, and he traveled through time to rescue the Statue of Liberty. So that's pretty cool.
That's quite a
That
resume.
is, yeah.
Yeah,
Bonesaw has a shirt as well. Sinister One. Let's go to you first.
no, I was just gonna say I remember when they pitched me the idea, I was like, that actually sounds kind of cool because they had some of the text prepared, and I was just kind of like interesting, but at the same time kind of weird. Of like, there's gonna be a shirt, and I'm on the shirt. Is that what you're telling me? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but it's turned out pretty well so far. So it's
I remember you said you're like I don't know who would wear a shirt of me. So now I hope I'm not
yeah.
creeping you out by wearing this. Like
No, I really thought when they said it, I was like, okay, great. Well, I know we'll sell at least one to my mom, and then beyond that, good luck.
and Bonesaw, I understand you have a shirt too. Do you have yours yet?
No, I don't.
All right, I have mine, but something must be different in the States than in Canada because this is the one they sent me of you. Uh,
What?
I don't know
That's
what
the
happened
Fear and
there.
Loathing shirt.
I don't know what happened there, but that's they got me the wrong shirt. So hopefully that gets fixed. Here's what it actually looks like. I got a picture for you guys. So you can take a look. It's got Bonesaw doing the turn dance. It says Bonesaw is ready. The Sinister One shirt there as well. So there you go. It's pretty cool. I think they've done was the Yeti the one that did the Team Cosmo shirts in the past too. I
They
think.
did, yes. There's definitely a Cosmo shirt on there, maybe even more than one. And they are planning to expand it and do some other speedrunners too. This was kind of like a trial thing. They probably wanted to see, is this actually going to sell at all? And surprisingly, both Bonesaw and my shirt sold out relatively quickly. So they had to restock, and now they are indeed restocked.
They're restocked. So guys, go ahead and check that out if you haven't had a chance to take a look at those shirts. Maybe pick one up for yourself. Pretty cool stuff. Final thought on that before we move on. Anybody have any ideas for like who's the next shirt that you want to see? Like who is the unexplored market sector here? Whose face is on the next shirt? Spike?
If the shirt I would get would be the Mexican runner. I want a Puta Madre shirt with a taco on it right now. That'd be the first one. That'd be the one I'm wearing.
That sounds pretty good. Anybody else? Any thoughts?
I actually want to hear what Bonesaw thinks about the whole shirt thing. I feel like he didn't get to chime in there.
Oh, I did interrupt him. So
actually, like when I first heard that they were doing speedrunner shirts, I knew there was a shirt of Cosmo, but like I thought, oh well, like people like speedrunners like myself won't really get one because like it would have to be somebody who averages like thousands of viewers, like somebody like Worcester would get one, or Adam AK or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like Vicious Napkin who was messaging me on Skype, and she was like, oh well, I'm making a design for a speedrunner shirt. Do you want a speedrunner shirt? I was like, me? Really? Yeah, sure, why not? And I think it's awesome that they're actually getting speedrunner shirts, because now that speedrunning is getting so big, well, why not have the merchandise to go with that so that you can support your favorite speedrunner? It's kind of like in sports. Like if you really like a football player, you go out and buy a jersey, so.
There you go. I see a lot of people in the chat want a Spike Vegeta shirt. There it is. That's the shirt right there.
That is the
shirt. Somebody get a Yeti representative. We need.
I see a lot of Blue Glass and Adam AK as well.
Yeah, lots of good ideas. So look out for those. There's probably some more on the way in the future as well. So cool stuff. Let's go ahead and move on, guys. Our next topic is glitch, please. This is when things don't go the way we expect them to. This was on Mecha Richter stream the other day, playing some NBA Jam. Now, the game is already kind of glitchy. I don't know if they put the cartridge in correctly, but this one's from downtown.
What happened to the... What?
Rejected!
Oh, the reaction.
Crashes. Now, this is great. The game crashed, but now look at this message here. The message says to report all of the debug info to Iguana Entertainment. Like, they're going to do something about that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Call them immediately.
Write that code down, and we'll fix your game. Like, what are they even going to do? Are they going to come out to your house, send out a guy? Like... let me replace that cartridge for you, sir. Look at this. This is the best part too. The guy that so he crashes the game. Now he's taking a selfie. He's taking a selfie right now. I just crashed the game. Just crashed NBA Jam. Time to take a selfie. Like, all right. 5 beers. 5 beers.
Yeah, shout out to the beer counter.
I love the beer counter. Oh man.
This is what happens when you drink and play.
There you go. Even when they're drunk, they still manage to crash a game. That's exciting stuff there.
Shout outs to Mecha Richter.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, times are tough, and in order to make sure that we have enough funds to be able to keep the stream rolling, it's time for a commercial break. Bonesaw, I think you know a little bit about our sponsor. Would you like to explain what we're about to see?
Oh, yeah. Well, what you guys are about to experience is the overall scent of hype. And this is a new fragrance that every speedrunner, every gamer should have at all times in order to woo the general population.
Okay, let's take a look, guys. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Always tells people that.
The sounds, the feels, the dodges and steals. These are the feelings that describe the perfect time, the perfect place, the perfect match.
I love going on message boards and playing on games I've never played. I mean, that's basically Twitch TV, so true.
I smell terrible.
Let's get this hype rolling! Introducing the new fragrance from Smash Room, Ass.
I'm so confused. Like,
What did I just watch?
I don't know. I just.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
What is your interpretation, Sinister One?
Well, no, I think you guys should go first because I want to hear what other people think about it.
Okay, all right.
No, I know. I got
you have it figured out. You know.
I got it figured out for sure.
Okay, Spike, you got to break it down for me.
Oh, the breakdown. Well, somehow when you bring Golden, Bonesaw, and Jackford together, somehow those are the three that will produce ass.
Apparently, are you trying to tell me I smell bad? I don't.
I know. I'm like, why is it those three? Okay.
What's Jackford? What is Jackford doing in this? Is he just trying to get back on the show again? Like,
Yeah.
he's trying to get back.
Sinister and Spike.
Like Sinister and Spike, just no, you're not in the commercial. It's we got to make room for Jack.
See, I tried to take
well,
like
that's
the
cool.
general appeal of every single fragrance commercial that's out there,
Okay.
and just put it into one speedrunner related video.
All right.
So as you can
That's
see,
what I was gonna say.
Okay.
There's-
okay.
3 random actors
Okay.
walking around in some surreal universe, and then all of a sudden it's like the new fragrance from
Exactly.
Chanel.
There you go.
See, I figured that out. I watched this before Golden showed it to me, and I was like, "What is going on right now?" And then I had to watch it again, and the second time it dawned on me. I was like, "Oh, wait a
I
second!
get
This
it
is
now.
like every fragrance commercial I've ever seen."
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
making fun of it.
There we go.
Brilliant.
It was
That's
too
it.
smart for me. Like the first time I watched
So-
it, I was just like, there's a marathon couch, and I don't get it. But
Yes. Yeah. No. Next
Yeah,
time,
I was
Sinister's
like-
got it. Yeah.
if you see a cologne or perfume commercial, it is absolutely going to be just like that.
All right. Well, I imagine that that fragrance is going to be selling like hotcakes and keeping us on the air. So
It will.
thank you for the commercial, Bonesaw. I don't know if you guys know, but he tends to make videos like this. He's got quite a few of them out there. So do you have a YouTube you want to plug? So we can see some of your other
yeah.
videos.
If you just go on YouTube and type in Speedruns Bonesaw, you'll find it.
All right.
Or
there we-
No SRL. If you type that in too, you'll find it. They're all tagged No SRL.
No SRL. There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Guys, we're reaching the end of the show here. It's time for the Q&A section with the chat. It's called the Boss Rush. It's your opportunity, guys, in the chat to ask questions that you might have to any of us, whether it's Bonesaw or one of the regular hosts. Get your questions in now, and we will be sure to try to respond to them. Before we get into the Q&A, I have a few announcements that I've been asked to share with you guys. First of all, there are going to be weekly X2 races on Speedruns Live starting tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
There we go. This is new information. So if you play Mega Man X2, look out for that. They're going to be on Sundays, I believe, if I have my facts straight. So if you're into X2, you'll have an opportunity to play in those every week. As well as the Mystery Tournament, number 4. The finals are going on right now. Twitch TV tweeted them out. And so hopefully if they're still live, at the end of our show, we can stop by and raid them.
Who's in it? Who's in the finals?
I didn't see the names. I saw like Ion Grab was in it.
Oh, cool.
I know that like the people on commentary, it's like Blecky and Boney Grunt and your usual like Hash Blind, blind racers. So they've done this a couple other times where they'll broadcast kind of the playoffs of it, and it's pretty well done. So you guys should check that out following our show here, if it's still live. That is, I don't know if they've wrapped up already or not. But
Speaking of weekly races, before we go forward, I just wanted to plug that there used to be a weekly race for Ninja Gaiden. It's coming back.
It's coming back.
It is, yes,
Yes.
it is confirmed for next Saturday. There's going to be at least 4 people entering in that race. Hopefully we get more. So Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern,
Nice.
starting next week.
I used to like I hate to say wake up then, but it's basically true. I used to wake up for those. Yeah, so those are a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. So let's see what we got here for questions, guys. The first question is, let's see. Okay, this is a fair question. Why do you think the IQ is bringing up such a big fuss when people have been using other forms, like such as foreign games, to get better times? Like, what makes the IQ such a talking point versus just like switching to the Japanese version of a game?
Probably just I mean, my view on it is just the obscurity of the console. Like, I think 99% of us never knew what an IQ was before Cosmo brought up the idea of using it.
I think
So
that's yeah.
it sounds so much more foreign than just saying, like, I'm going to get a Japanese PlayStation
Right.
2. I'm going to get a
It's not
Slim
necessarily
PlayStation.
that anybody's out to illegitimize it. It's just one of those things where it's, it popped up. Nobody really heard of it. I think that kind of brought a lot of attention to it. Um, you know, people will switch languages to play games, but that's pretty common in every game. It's not specific to a subset of games. It's almost always the case that someone will switch to Japanese if it produces a faster run. So yeah, I agree. I think it's just kind of the obscurity of it.
I find
Um,
it's laziness, to be quite honest.
Laziness?
Like, I find that like, this is just from my personal experience. It's like, it certainly isn't anybody else's, but like, concerning Ratchet and Clank, like any percent certainly does interest me, and I really like running it. But like, I just don't want to go through the trouble of getting a PAL PlayStation 3, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I could, and it wouldn't be that hard, but like,
It's just enough of an obstacle that it keeps you away from it.
yeah.
Okay. We have a few more questions here. Bonesaw, this question is for you from Ricky Fit. What province do you live in?
Ontario.
There you go.
Nice.
Would you switch to a different province if you had the opportunity, or is Ontario? Are you
Ontario
satisfied
is the best.
there you go. All right. This question's for everybody from Dark Terex. What foreign languages do we all know? Sinister One.
I have a working knowledge of Spanish.
Can you give me something in Spanish here?
No, I much prefer to read or write.
Okay.
I can read and write, speaking not so well.
Und dann haben wir Bonesaw 577 und sagt.
Oh, well, I did take French, but I don't know it. So, English.
I'm just making up the German as I go. That might be wrong. So
Okay.
no.
Sounded good to me.
I was like,
No,
I
did take a few years of German, but it's been so long, it's probably all butchered at this point. So, Spike?
Nothing.
There you go.
I took my Spanish classes.
There you go.
I got through. I don't know how I got
Yeah,
through.
I took German in high school, and then when I got to college, they didn't accept it. Like, it didn't translate, so they said go and... They tried to put me back in another German class, and I'd still needed like 1 year of a language. I just said, screw it, I don't want to do German again, because I've already done that. So I tried Japanese, and it annihilated me. But it was interesting. I don't know. I can't really even offer you much of anything in the form of a Japanese sentence at this point, but
You guys actually get a choice in high school about which language you want to take?
Oh, yeah.
Are you stuck with something?
Small choice.
Yeah.
We only get
ours was
French.
You only
That's
get
it.
French? Okay.
Really?
Yeah,
We get
we usually
French.
get like a lot of schools in America tend to get like Spanish plus one or two other languages. Like
Yeah.
that's a fair statement, I think.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I had
for me it
Spanish,
was-
French was my choice, I believe.
Yeah,
Spanish, French,
our school
German.
did Spanish,
Yeah.
German. So, okay, let's take a couple more questions here, and then we will end the show here. This question's from Mito Requiem. When will Sinister One reveal his age?
When the donation incentive is met.
Ooh, when the money's right. All right, I like it. Let's see. I think maybe that might be it.
Striker, I saw that
everybody else
comment.
is. What is he saying?
Oh, just that I don't speak English.
You don't even speak English. There you go.
I'm just saying I saw it.
There you go. All right.
I mean, he's right, but yeah.
I think that's pretty good to wrap up there. So we'll end on that note, guys. I'm very excited to announce that next week we were supposed to have Scout, but he's going to wait a week because he's got some exciting stuff to share with SGDQ. So taking his place, we're going to have Duckfist on the show next week.
Hell yeah.
So
dude.
excited.
Fuck this.
Duckfist going to be on the show. It's going to be great. So come on back next week, same time, same place to see that show, and Duckfist will be here alongside us. Thanks again, Bonesaw, for being on the show. Any last plugs you want to give? Any shout outs?
Actually, I'm all good. Thank you guys very much for having me on the show.
All right. Well, I'm not going to let you go just yet because we have one more section that we do at the end of every show, and that is the speech. All right. One of you is going to be randomly chosen to talk about whatever the heck you want to talk about for 30 seconds.
We should really think about these before we get here.
Nobody has any idea what they want to say, so it could be you. This could be your week. So I'm gonna hit my lucky randomizer here.
Oh no!
Oh, please not me. Please not me.
Please God.
Spike Vegeta. 30 seconds. Whatever you feel like talking about right now. Something speedrunning related or not. What's up, man?
I'd like to remind all of you that in this week of March Madness, where you might feel like your brackets are destroyed and you don't know what to do, I'd like to remind you, as long as you keep track of what's really important, I didn't call Dayton winning in the first round. I didn't call North Dakota State. But remember that as long as you keep your Final Four alive, you don't have to be the Goldens of the world.
There we go.
You can keep moving forward. I have still got Michigan State. I've got a hobbled Iowa State.
All right. Yeah. I get it. I pick Duke and I lose. I'm out. That's it. That's all the further we're going to go with that. All right. On that note, guys, that is it for the Final Split episode number 3. We will see you guys back here next week, 8 p.m. Eastern, the same time, same place. Duckfist will be on the show. And before we finally sign off, there's one more reminder that we have to give. And that is that your run is not over until you hit the final split. We'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.